Tsukune Aono, an average student, is not accepted into any of the local high schools, but his parents are delighted to have him enroll at the boarding school Youkai Academy after his father had a chance encounter with a drunk guy dressed in a white monk's robe. He meets and befriends Moka Akashiya, a vampire who is charmed by his human blood scent. However, he learns that yokai is a monster school. Students must keep their human forms on academy grounds according to school rules, and any humans who manage to sneak past the school's magical security barrier will be executed. Tsukune tries to flee the school but gets into a fight with Moka. Tsukune's life is put in jeopardy during a fight with a delinquent student named Saizo Komiya, immediately before he unintentionally pulls the rosary from Moka's back, transforming Moka into a powerful vampire with silver hair who easily defeats Saizo. He wakes up to discover the pink-haired Moka looking after him, asking for more drink from his neck. Tsukune tries not to bring attention to himself after discovering that the bus driver only comes to and from the academy once a month, but Moka is more than pleased to meet him cordially, causing resentment among the other students, notably the popular succubus student Kurumu Korono. Kurumu seduces Tsukune by putting him in a trance when Tsukune observes that Moka is simply using him for his blood, but Tsukune manages to break the spell. Kurumu, infuriated, attempts to kill him, but Moka intervenes and saves him. Moka easily overcomes Kurumu after Tsukune removes Moka's rosary, but Tsukune saves Kurumu from more injury. Tsukune and Moka are surprised to learn that Kurumu has fallen in love with Tsukune the next day. Yukari and Sendo's crush on Moka motivates her to try to keep her away from Tsukune by pulling a variety of pranks. Yukari appears to be uninterested in establishing friends, despite the fact that she is despised by everyone. Later, when Yukari goes outside, she is met by Todashi Wanabuchi, a lizard man and his two minions, who are intolerant of witches since they are so near to being human. Each of Moka, Tsukune, and Kumuru arrive to assist Yukari. Tsukune gets hurt while shielding Yukari, and before fainting, he pulls the rosary from Moka's neck. The trio of lizardmen are quickly dispatched by Moka's inner self. Yukari rapidly realizes that Tsukune is a true friend, and resolves to begin a new page in her life. Yukari says the next day that she now loves Tsukune as much as she loves Moka. Tsukune, the fan club coalition believes, is the reason Moka, Yukari, and Kumuru don't pay attention to them. Tsukune is depressed because due to his lack of power, he is unable to protect the females in the same way they protect him. Tsukune, Moka believes, is attempting to return to the human realm. The fan group attacks Tsukune at the bus stop, but the three females intervene and save him. After the fanboys unite, Tsukune takes Moka's rosary from her neck to awaken her inner self, allowing the females to eliminate the three fanboys. Tsukune only wanted the bus driver to deliver the letters he addressed to his family, according to the girls, and Moka had simply overreacted. Tsukune discovers that the bus driver will now only come once a day, and that phones in the student lobby can be used to communicate with the outside world. Tsukune and Moka are having trouble deciding which extracurricular club to join. Shizuka Nekonome, Tsukune's homeroom teacher, suggests that Tsukune, Moka, Kurumu, and Yukari join her newspaper club instead the next day. Tsukune and his friends are introduced to Gane Morioka at the inaugural meeting of the newspaper club, who utilizes his superficial attractiveness to push out Tsukune, presenting him as a strange peeping Tom who has been photographing the girls around school. Moka ponders who Tsukune truly is in her heart, while Kurumu and Yukari seek to uncover the true culprit and clear Tsukune's name. Later, Gine tries to make a move on Moka, but Kurumu and Yukari point out the various inconsistencies in Gine's statement, demonstrating that he is the peeping Tom. Tsukune arrives to rescue Moka from her harm and removes the rosary from Moka's neck, revealing Gine's actual colors and form as a werewolf almost as powerful as a vampire. Gine discovers that he can't outsmart or outrun Moka's inner self. They distributed filters the next day revealing Gine's deeds and clearing Tsukune's name. As Tsukune and the other members of the newspaper club can distribute the papers to the students, Mizora Shirayuki, a snow girl, enters and takes an immediate fancy to Tsukune. Mizore tries to isolate Tsukune for herself, seeing him as a lonely kindred spirit in need of friendship, but Moka and Kurumu stop her. Mizore is later in risk of being expelled because her physical education instructor, Bokuto Kutsubo, accuses her of striking him without cause. Gine eventually clears Mizore's name by displaying images of Kotsubo in his Kraken form attempting to exploit Mizore. Tsukune saves Mizore from tumbling down the cliff into the ocean as she confesses her loneliness. Moka takes the rosary from Moka's neck as he lunges for Tsukune. Mizore is punished by Moka's inner self, who encourages her to try living her life before thinking about dying. Mizore reappears the next day sporting a new hairstyle. Gine gets scolded for continuing to photograph female classmates in secret. Mizore's icy magic causes Tsukune, Moka, and Kurumu to suffer colds. Tsukune is falling behind the others and may end up in summer school if he fails his midterms, which will be given by the lovely math teacher Ririko Kagome. Tsukune tutors the girls in arithmetic, and Moka provides him with her notes to study. This, however, attracts Rikuru's notice, who demands that Tsukune be given extra lessons with her instead. Unfortunately, Tsukune's extraordinary math ability has come at the expense of his personality as a result of these lessons. Rikuro is a Lamia who is attempting to incite Tsukune with her serpent body by putting mathematical formulas into his mind, Moka discovers. After Ririko attacks Moka, the latter's notes spray all over the floor, reawakening Tsukune. Moka's inner self easily beats Ririko once he's taken the rosary from Moka's neck. Tsukune passes his midterms the next day thanks to Moka's notes. Yukari passes her exams with flying colors. Mizori just scrapes by, and Kurumu fails severely. Fun in the sun on a beach for the newspaper club gives way to a field of sunflowers on a hill that Tsukune discovers while on summer vacation in the human world with Nekonome as their chaperone. He is unaware that there are two witches who live there, and make no distinction between themselves and the land developers, who want to develop the area. Yukari meets Ruby Tojo later that night, pleasantly thrilled to see another witch after feeling left out by the others owing to her young age. Tsukune arrives to lead Yukari back to the others while she considers whether or not to join Ruby and her guardian, later identified as Lady Oyakata. Ruby uses plant monsters to assault Tsukune, but Yukari chops them to shreds. Ruby critically wounded Tsukune just as Yukari is about to depart with the others, motivating Moka, Kurumu, and Mizore to attack Ruby with ferocity. Ruby tells how terribly witches have been treated, and how developers aim to ruin the sunflower field after she wakes up in a tent with Tsukune and the other females. Tsukune and the other girls encourage her to join the group, and attend the academy with them after hearing her story. When Ruby sees how well Tsukune and his friends treat each other, she begins to have reservations, prompting her to return to Oyakata later that night. Ruby starts a major battle with plant monsters when Tsukune and the other girls rush into the sunflower field to look for her. When the others battle off the plant monsters, Tsukune and Moka are stuck within the field. Tsukune removes Moka's rosary from her neck, and Moka's inner self battles Ruby alone, but without success. Tsukune informs Ruby that Oyakata has died, but Ruby refuses to believe it. Ruby attacks them with a forbidden magic, but they manage to destroy it with their combined efforts. The next day, when Gine and Nekonome come, it is revealed that Ruby has survived the blast. The summer break is over and a new academic year has begun at the academy. However, while the newspaper club prepares its next issue, Kaito, a member of the powerful and corrupt security committee, becomes enraged and attempts to destroy the newspaper club through competition. Gine tells Tsukune and Kurumu to burn the newspapers in the incinerator if the club distributes any more. Kaito and her three minions are confronted by the two. In her Jorogumo form, she attacks them, but the other females arrive to save them. Tsukune takes Moka's rosary from her neck, and Moka's inner self effortlessly repels the attack, entangling Kaito and her henchmen in their own spiderweb. Nonetheless, the security committee's destructive resolve against the newspaper club is strengthened and escalated with equal ease. The newspaper club tries to gather proof of the security committee's graft. Tsukune is, however, apprehended by Kuyo, the security committee's chairman, who suspects Tsukune is a human. For knowing Tsukune was a human, Moka, Kurumu, and Mizore are also arrested. Tsukune is compelled to acknowledge being human after hearing testimonials from various students and employees, as well as a forceful interrogation with the three girls. Moka is imprisoned for being an accessory to his fraud now that his confession has become public knowledge inside the academy, and Kuyo sentences Tsukune to death. Kurumu and Mizore inform Yukari and Gine of this unbelievable but surprising news. What happens to Tsukune is still up in the air. Ruby disguises herself as a crow and collects the other four girls in order to oppose the security committee and save Tsukune from execution. After Tsukune is reunited with Moka, Kuyo uses his flames to severely harm Tsukune. He takes the rosary from Moka's neck as his body goes limp. While Moka's inner self prepares to inject her blood into Tsukune, Kuyo reappears as a fox demon and quickly eliminates any attempts by the rest of the gang to defeat him. To make matters worse, Moka's inner self understands as she prepares for battle that giving up her blood to save Tsukune has considerably weakened her. Tsukune is magically resurrected and saves Moka in her form, being consumed by fire. Moka's inner self beats Kuyo unconscious with Gine's help. Tsukune is falsely credited with defeating Kuyo, which no human could have done, and is permitted to return to the Youkai Academy, where everyone believes he's a monster once more. Moka awakens after a period of recuperation in the infirmary when Tsukune pays her a visit. She tries to kiss him, but the other females enter and try to get him to kiss them instead, much to his dismay.